Krishna Krishna. Hariom everybody, welcome to story time. These were the fun days of Krishna in Vrindavan. But still, Kamsa would not rest. Each time one Asura was defeated by Krishna, Kamsa got more and more afraid, and he would send one by one these Asuras. But people of Vrindavan would hear these stories from the children. One day, after early morning, Mother Yashoda and Mother Rohini, having dressed up their Krishna and Balram, with the intent of eating lunch in the forest, having dressed their boys very well, and now Krishna carried with him the flute ever by his side, and giving them packets of food. All the mothers of the Gopas sent their children with the calves and holding little sticks in their hand. These cute little cowherd boys, they would go to the forest taking their calves, and their calves also were in hundreds and thousands. Can you imagine how many cows they had? And those calves with their hoofs throwing up the dust, and these charming little boys, they went, and this time when they came to the banks of the river Yamuna, they used to play such lovely, lovely games. They enjoyed themselves because it's fun being with friends, playing in nature, playing outdoors. And they used to play such fun games. They used to chirp like the birds. Can you hear them chirping right now? Listen. They used to chirp like the birds. They used to make the sharp sound of the peacock. Meow, meow, meow. And when they saw the peacocks, they used to also dance like the peacock. They would make all those movements. Sometimes they would run and somebody would chase them. And sometimes their slings that they had. You know what's a sling? You have two pieces of wood like a Y, and you put a rubber there, and you have a casing there, and there you put the stone if you want to hit at a distance. And they used to play with these swings. Somebody used to throw the swing far away, teasing each other, playing with each other, and the other would run to pick up his swing. The other boy there would throw it far away. They used to play such lovely, lovely games. And sometimes if one did get a little irritated, they would go and calm him down, give him hugs. And whenever Krishna went at a little distance somewhere, these Gopas used to feel so restless. And each one would say, but I spotted Krishna first. And they would go running to go and hug Krishna, hold Krishna. They were so much. Everybody was so much in love with Krishna. For Krishna was their best friend. And they used to sit there sometimes, and they used to decorate their bodies with garlands of flowers, put flower in their hair. They used to even take some small fruits and berries, make earrings out of that. Can you imagine cherries in your ears? And a garland of blueberries. So such beautiful color berries. They used to wear flowers on themselves, and most of them, they just loved decorating Krishna. They put all these lovely flowers, and they used to look so charming. Sometimes they used to take the different type of mud, mix it with water, and they used to make patterns on their faces. They used to kind of put on their mind. Sometimes they say, see, I am a warrior. And like that, they used to play so many games, tag ball, and they just enjoying themselves. Sometimes they used to jump into the waters and make ripples in the water. And if they saw the frog, they would swim with the frogs. And if the frog jumped, they would also jump up. They found so many things to have fun in nature. But while they were having fun, Kamsa was getting more and more frightened. And he sent another Asur, big-faced. He had a big face. And his name was Agha. Therefore, Aghasura. Agha itself means sin, very sinful. And he was the youngest brother of Baki and Baka. And having heard about what happened to Putna and Miss Baki and Baka Sur, he said, who is this little boy who could have done this with the powerful Baki and Baka? I should go there. He was so fierce looking. He was terrible, big head. And he came there, seeing that little Krishna playing with the boys. He wondered, this little fellow? Anyway, let me see. And from a distance, this huge Asura demon took a form of a python. You know, python, the big, huge snake. Yeah. Boa constrictor. And that can devour anything and then crush it in its body. And he took the form of such a huge python, such a huge one that he was about 8 miles long. And sizzling away, he came. And when he saw, he thought, let me open my huge mouth and just sit here. These boys will think it is a cave, and little boys are curious. And sometimes you have to be careful. But they are curious and they will come close, and then I will devour them all and then crush them in my body. And that will be the end of all these children, and it will be the end of this Balram and Krishna. The children were playing away, and he came there, and his mouth huge, with his fangs, his tongue coming out. While they were exploring the forest, they didn't realize that they'd never seen this kind of a huge landscape, a huge cave in Vrindavan. The little boys started talking to themselves. We've never seen such a cave. What must be inside that cave? Then some boy said, listen, this is a very fascinating cave. It looks like a mouth of a big snake. Not saying that the python's mouth is looking like a cave. And look at its fangs, the rocks that are hanging from the top. And this path to it looks like its tongue. And look, the hot air coming from it is like its breath. And the stink that is coming from inside must be the dead animals inside his body. The dead carcasses in his body that he must have eaten. But these boys were fascinated. They thought that it is a cave that looks like amusement parks cave looking like the mouth of a monster. But it was a monster looking like a cave. But these boys had become so courageous. Some boys said that what if it is a huge snake and it would devour us. The birds were screaming away. The other boys said, what is there to fear? Our Krishna is here. Even if it's a snake, he will do something to protect us. And by the time Shri Krishna was there to stop them, they all entered into the mouth of Aghasura. See, when we know that something is dangerous and we know that Krishna is there to help us, but we should not say, because Krishna is there to help us, we should be careless. But these boys had so much faith in Krishna that they, with their curiosity, entered into the mouth of it. And they went climbing up his tongue. And when they came to the back of his tongue, suddenly they slipped like a slide. First they thought it was an amusement park slide and went zwing into his belly. But he did not start crushing them because he was waiting for Krishna to come. And he knew that Krishna would come now to save his friends. And Krishna was trying to stop them, but they went inside. Krishna saw and knew that this is a demon in the form of this huge python. He thought, what should I do? Meanwhile, he could hear some screams and some shout. So he decided, I will not leave my friends alone. And he went up the tongue of Aghasura. Aghasura, his mouth watering, waiting for Krishna to come inside so that his fangs he can close. But the moment Krishna entered inside, he could hear the screams, the shout as rumblings from the tummy of Aghasura. And they were saying, Krishna, Krishna, it's dark here. Krishna, Krishna, save us. Krishna, Krishna, save us. Krishna, Krishna, save us. But when Krishna is near, what is there to fear? Aghasura closed his mouth. It became dark. But Krishna lit up the whole place with his body. And when the Gopa boys saw that light enter into the mouth of Aghasura, they screamed, our Krishna is here. There is nothing to fear. And Krishna came to the throat of that huge snake and grew bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and Aghasura could not recognize what's happening inside him. He thought he had swallowed Krishna, but Krishna stuck in his throat like a thorn there, no? And he started choking, he started coughing, but Krishna grew taller and taller and taller and taller, and right from the center of his head, and all the Gopa boys, Krishna, 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 they were calling away. And Krishna suddenly burst open its skull and jumped out from there, and then brought out all his friends. And the friends just knew that Krishna would have saved them. But Krishna looked at them and said, don't you do such things. They are not daring. These can be dangerous. So don't do it. But they were so happy. Krishna Kanhaiya Laal ki Jai. Krishna Kanhaiya Laal ki Jai. They were singing and they were playing there, and light emerged from Aghasura and went to become one with Krishna. See, blessed by Krishna, even these demons who came to harm Krishna were blessed and they were freed. Aghasura also died. But for 1 year, nobody in the village. Nobody in Vrindavan, the old elders, came to know about it. For 1 year. Now, with little Gopa boys who keep prattling all the time, keep talking all the time, how come nobody knew about Aghasura? Now that his dead body was lying there as a cave, the Gopas seemed to go and play there in the body of Aghasura. It was an amusement park for them now. But nobody came to know. What was that secret? Do you know? People did not know. But Shukdev Ji Maharaj, who was telling this story to Parikshit, the king, who was supposed to die by the striking of Takshak snake, and wanted to hear the stories of Krishna, said, how come for 1 year nobody came to know? And Shukdev Ji says, I will tell you a secret. And do you know what had happened? Now that Krishna had killed Aghasura, the food packets that they had brought from their mothers, they were in the mid-noon, they were hot and sweating away, but they were very hungry. And all of them cheering Krishna, they came and sat on the sandy banks of the river Yamuna. Meanwhile, the Devtas had started throwing from the heavens flowers and cheering, Bolo Nandalala ki Jai. They were going on praising. And the creator Brahma Ji heard all these praises, and he comes around looking around for everybody. He had also come on his swan. Meanwhile, Krishna was sitting with all the Gopabhaks, and they sat in a circle. And whom did they keep in the center? The jewels of jewels, Sri Krishna. And they all sat in the center. And it looked like as though Krishna was facing all the sides so that all the Gopas could see Krishna. And all of them had brought their packets from their home. Some had bought rice and curds. Somebody had brought pickles and rotis, chapatis. Some had brought bread. And maybe at that time, they would be having also some sandwiches and pizzas too. Yes, don't you think that sometimes our Indian dishes also have you had an uttapam? It's like a pizza made up of rice. So they had plenty of these lovely, lovely dishes, and each one had brought. And Krishna, all of them were eating, but Krishna also believed in sharing. And each one had brought one dish of their own. But when they shared with each other, can you imagine how many different types of dishes they could enjoy? And everybody wanted Krishna to eat. Krishna, eat this, Krishna, eat this, Krishna, eat this. But meanwhile, the calves whom they had fed with water, and they had also left them to go and eat graze freely. Some of the calves had gone away a distance, and the Gopas, they looked at Krishna and said, "Arey, our calves have gone quite far off." Krishna said, you all don't get up from your food. I will go and see where the calves are, and I'll bring the calves back, or we'll find out where the calves are, but you all eat. Krishna was always first to go and do everything. So while all the boys were eating, Krishna went searching for the calves. Meanwhile, Brahmaji, who himself had gone to the Lord and asked him to come to save the earth from these terrible people, these terrible demons, and remove all injustice, evil from this world, adharma from this world, unrighteousness from this world. Even Brahmaji, seeing the Lord of the universe as a little boy, eating with the Gopa boys, playing with the Gopas, he also got deluded that the heavens are praising and such a terrible demon whom even the heavenly denizens, the Devtas, used to be afraid of. Can this little boy kill it? Or is it just big talk? He had hidden the calves away. Seeing that little Krishna come there, he hid that calf away in some cave, or he just made them invisible. Krishna came looking for the calves, and when he couldn't see the calves, he came back to the Gopas, and Brahmaji had even made the Gopas disappear. Even the Gopas had disappeared. Krishna thought to himself, the calves have disappeared, Gopas have disappeared. If I go back alone, nobody knows where the children are gone, where the calves are gone. The cows will cry. All the Gopas and Gopis will cry. And then, magic of all magics, that Krishna, who is in the hearts of everyone, thought. And he said, Brahma has played this trick. He has spread his invisible magical powers, Maya. But Krishna is the Lord of Maya, Lord of magic. And look what Krishna did. He immediately took the forms identical like every calf, every boy. You know what Krishna did? He photocopied himself and took the form of every other boy. So identical, even with their beads, their jewels, their horns, their flutes, their crowns, everything. He just dressed for. He looked like all of them. Because after all, who becomes this entire universe? It is Krishna only. So that the parents don't feel the loss of their children, Krishna became all the Gopas. The cows don't miss their calves. He became all the calves. And when he came back to Vrindavan, all the Gopas and the Gopis who loved Krishna as their own child and used to think how lucky Mother Yashoda is, how lucky Nanda Baba is to have Krishna as their child. They also wanted Krishna as their child, and to fulfill their wishes, Krishna came as their own child. And every mother loves her child, every father loves their child, every animal loves their child. But suddenly, they felt even more love, even more love. They would hug their children. They would just not leave their children. They felt so happy in the company of their children. They would not even get upset with their children. Because who was there in the form of their children? Who was in the form of the calves? You guessed right. Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna. And Krishna is the dearest of all. And the dearest of all only had become the child of everyone in Vrindavan. Therefore, even now, parents like to see you as Krishna. And Krishna can become anybody. Have you sometimes gone in front of the mirror and looked into the mirror? And maybe In the mirror, you can recognize who? Krishna. He could have taken up your form. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna, Krishna.